Bruno, a 9-year-old boy trying to make a living, found a car key on the street. Little did he imagine it belonged to a Lamborghini. When he found the owner, his life changed unexpectedly. It was an afternoon with the sky painted orange and pink by the sunset. Bruno walked slowly home, carrying a half-full box of sweets. He had spent the day trying to sell candies at traffic lights and from store to store, but without success. Disappointment was clear on his dirty face, reflecting a sadness beyond his years. As he walked, Bruno thought about his family. Mum will be sad because of the medicine, and Dad will be disappointed. He was counting on me, he thought, worried. His mother was very ill, and the medicines she needed depended on the money he and his father earned from selling candies and sweets. Bruno arrived home, a modest structure with less than 2 rooms, feeling small as if he wanted to disappear. His father, Daniel, noticed his arrival and ran to meet him with a hopeful smile. "Did you do well today, son?" he asked, trying to hide his anxiety. Bruno shook his head negatively, tears in his eyes. "No, Dad. I'm sorry." Daniel's expression shifted from hope to sadness. "It's okay. We'll make it tomorrow," he said, trying to maintain optimism despite the difficult circumstances. Bruno felt his father's sadness echoing in his own heart. The situation was complicated, with his mother's illness worsening and candy sales not going well. Daniel got up and went to the bedroom to give his mother the last pill. Bruno felt even heavier seeing that they were running out of medication. "I made a grilled cheese sandwich for you. Eat it before bed," his father said before closing the door. Bruno picked up the sandwich from the makeshift kitchen, which had only a sink and a table, and sat on the floor of the living room, which also served as his bedroom. He settled on a small mattress, trying to find some comfort. As he ate, Bruno was alone with his thoughts. Will Mom die? Was his biggest concern. He looked up at the tiled ceiling. The house was simple, with worn walls and few furnishings, reflecting the family's daily struggle. The dim light from the lamp barely illuminated the room, casting long, sad shadows over their sparse belongings. Taking the last bite of bread, Bruno lay down on the mattress, wrapping himself in a ragged blanket that offered little warmth on the cold night. The wind began to blow stronger, bringing the cold and the sounds of the city that never slept. Bruno closed his eyes, trying to push away the sadness and focus on the next day. "I have to make it tomorrow," he whispered determinedly as he tried to keep warm. The family was going through tough times. Daniel and Leticia, humble and with few resources, had a lot of love to give to their only son, Bruno. They lived in a small 2-room house, a living room that also served as Bruno's bedroom, with an improvised kitchen, and a bedroom where the couple slept on a mattress on the floor. Bruno's life was full of challenges. The family's income came from selling candies at the traffic light, where he and his father, Daniel, worked hard, and from dish towels that Leticia sewed by hand. However, her health deteriorated dramatically due to a severe bacterial infection, leaving her bedridden and unable to continue working. This worsened the family's financial situation. Desperate because he couldn't afford his wife's medication, Daniel intensified their sales efforts at the traffic light with Bruno. The pressure of not being able to get the necessary medicines weighed heavily on his shoulders, bringing constant fear of not being able to support the family and of his wife not getting better. The few medications left were running out, and Bruno, despite his young age, felt the weight of this responsibility. At the traffic light, Bruno would see other children inside cars or playing on the sidewalks, living a childhood that seemed distant from his own reality. He felt excluded, unable to participate in this carefree phase of life. He woke up early and spent the day under the hot sun, while others went to school and made friends. Still, a flame of hope burned within him. "No matter what, I will get rich one day," he thought, dreaming of a better future for his parents. "We'll live in a big house and have plenty of food. Mom won't need to make dish towels, and Dad won't sell candies anymore. Neither will I. This thought often kept him motivated, despite the growing difficulties. That night, as Bruno returned home with the half-empty box of candies, he felt the weight of frustration. His inadequate sales left him feeling powerless. However, lying on the old mattress in the living room, staring at the ceiling that seemed to close in on him, a new idea began to form in his mind. Maybe, he thought, there's another way to help my family, something I haven't tried yet. In that moment of reflection, with the moon beginning to rise and the room enveloped in the dimness of the night, Bruno felt a mix of despair and inspiration. He knew he needed to act, to do something to change his family's situation. Underneath the thin blanket on the mattress, Bruno had an idea. In the silence of the house, while his parents slept soundly, he recalled a conversation he had overheard earlier. A customer who bought candies from him mentioned how people at parties craved sweets to go with their drinks. "Just take candies there, you'll sell out instantly," the man had said confidently. His words echoed in Bruno's mind as he got up with renewed determination. Checking the clock, it was already 10:30 at night. Careful not to wake his parents, Bruno grabbed 2 boxes of candies, put on a sweater against the cold, and stealthily slipped out through the front door. Bruno's heart pounded hard, mixing fear and courage as he walked quickly through the deserted streets. His modest neighborhood lay in the shadows of a more affluent area, known for its lavish parties and lively nightlife. Each step was taken cautiously, vigilant for any sign of danger. Despite his apprehension, the hope that his idea would work drove him forward. Approaching the party area, the sounds of music and laughter grew louder. Bruno observed the hustle and bustle of people, and a smile spread across his face. "This is it!" he exclaimed to himself, feeling that his idea was about to become reality. "It's going to work!" With determination, he opened the boxes of candies and began shouting at the top of his lungs, "Sweets! Candies and sweets!" Initially, people looked at him with surprise, some raising eyebrows in question. "I'll take 3, kid," said a customer. "Give me $10 worth of those candies," another requested. The partygoers, generally well off, didn't mind paying a bit extra for sweets. Sensing this, Bruno raised his prices. Sales skyrocketed, and he could barely believe how quickly the candy boxes were emptying. Each coin received felt like a victory, and his heart overflowed with joy and relief at the thought of buying medicine for his mother. "Dad will be so happy," he thought as he sold the last candies from the first box. Bruno felt a growing euphoria. The night was cold, but the warmth of hope filled his heart. He knew he was doing something significant, something that would truly make a difference for his family. As he counted the money earned, the little boy could hardly imagine that this night still held something even more incredible. Selling candies with renewed enthusiasm, Bruno stepped on something unexpected. Curious, he bent down to see what it was, and believe it or not, found a car key. He looked around, searching for someone who might have lost it, but found no one looking for the key. With the responsibility of an adult, he tucked it into his pocket and continued his sales. After selling the entire first box of candies, Bruno decided to take a break and try to find the owner of the key. He approached the upscale parking lots where the cars were parked, unsure which vehicle the key belonged to. With curiosity and anticipation, he pressed the button on the key fob, and immediately a car responded with a beep. The boy's eyes widened in surprise and admiration when he saw it was nothing less than a shiny red Lamborghini gleaming under the streetlights. He had never seen such an impressive car up close. His heart raced with excitement. "Driving a car like this must be amazing. What a machine," he murmured, awestruck. He stood beside the car, observing it and imagining owning something like it one day while waiting for the owner. It didn't take long for a visibly distressed and hurried man to approach. Surprised to see a boy near his luxury car, the man asked with a hint of suspicion, "What are you doing next to my car?" Bruno took a step back and, with the innocence of his age, showed him the key. "I found this and was waiting for the owner. Is it yours?" he asked, his voice a bit hesitant in the presence of the imposing man. The rich man's face immediately softened, touched by the boy's honesty. "Oh, buddy, thank you so much. I was desperate here," he said, relieved and grateful. Bruno nodded and returned to his mission of selling candies. "Candies and sweets! I'm selling candies and sweets!" he continued shouting, hoping to attract a few more late-night customers. But the Lamborghini owner chased after him, intrigued by the whole situation. "Why are you selling candies at this hour? You're too young to be out alone. Aren't your parents worried?" the man asked. Bruno explained that his parents didn't know he was there, but he needed to earn money for his mother's medicine. Tears welled up in his eyes as he remembered his mother's difficult situation, which he feared losing. "Wouldn't you like a candy?" he asked, trying to hide his emotions with a shy smile. Trying to push away the sadness with a smile, Bruno looked hopefully at the man. Touched by the scene and the boy's effort, the wealthy Lamborghini owner said, "Hey, come here, kid. Let's go home." Bruno hesitated, saying he couldn't leave his post, but the man insisted, promising a surprise. The little boy didn't understand, but he agreed. He couldn't contain his excitement as he got into Guilherme's red Lamborghini, marveling at the smooth leather seats and looking around the luxurious car. Guilherme, noticing the boy's joy, smiled and started driving through the city streets, giving Bruno an unforgettable night. They cruised through the city's illuminated streets, with the boy admiring the lights and sounds, feeling like he was in a dream. The man talked and laughed with him, showing him different points of the city and sharing interesting stories about the places they passed. It was around 1 a.m. when they finally arrived at Bruno's house. Even before they approached, they saw the lights on in the house, and Daniel, Bruno's father, was outside, visibly shaken and crying. "Bruno, where have you been?" he shouted, panicked. Guilherme parked. Father, now seeing Bruno emerge from that impressive red Lamborghini, ran to them with clear desperation on his face, just wanting to hug him. "Where were you? Are you crazy?" he yelled, assessing was safe and unharmed. His words conveyed the concern of a father who had gone to get water in the kitchen and hadn't found his son sleeping where he should have been. Bruno quickly explained everything, recounting the party, the sales, finding the key, and meeting Guilherme. "We're almost there, Dad. Got enough money for the medicine," he said, trying to reassure Danielle with the news that they had nearly raised the money for the pills. The man hugged him tightly, relieved and still trembling with worry. Guilherme approached and was greeted with gratitude by Daniel. "Thank you for bringing my son home, sir," Daniel said, visibly moved. He shared that when he was young, his mother passed away because they couldn't afford the necessary treatment. They were poor, too. "I only became wealthy when I grew up," he confided, wanting to help. The wealthy man took $200 out of his pocket and handed it to Daniel.
"For you to buy whatever you need. Take good care of your wife and don't let your son grow up without a mother." Overwhelmed with emotion and gratitude, Daniel fell to his knees. But the generosity didn't stop there. Determined to do more for the family, the businessman made an unexpected offer. "We are in need of a manager to oversee the entire maintenance and cleaning sector in my technology company. If you're interested, you would choose the team of cleaners and janitors." The words had barely left his mouth before Daniel was in tears, thanking God for this unexpected turn of events. "Oh Lord, thank you so much," he cried, embracing Bruno, who could hardly believe it himself. Because of his son's persistence and courage, everything in their lives was about to change. In the following months, with Daniel's new job as the head of the cleaning team, the family's life changed completely. Now, both employed, they managed to stabilize their finances, something that had seemed like a distant dream for so long. Together, they began to enjoy a life with fewer financial worries and more hope for the future.
With their decent salaries, they finally moved into a 2-bedroom apartment. It was modest, but it meant the world, especially to the little boy, who finally had his own room with a single bed he could call his own. This brought immense joy to the boy, who felt like the luckiest in the world. This change also allowed Bruno to stop selling candies at the traffic light and finally live a normal childhood, like any other child. He had time to play, study, and make friends. Years later, as an adult, Bruno started working at Guilherme's technology company, the man who had changed his family's life. The businessman had known the young man since he was little and gave him the opportunity to start his career in the company. At 20, Bruno was determined to give his best effort. He knew that professional success was now a real possibility and was willing to do everything in his power to achieve his dreams and further improve his parents' lives. Every step he took was a step toward a promising future. The young man had big plans. He wanted to thrive and repay his parents for all their love and sacrifice. He was determined to turn his new reality into a source of pride and joy for his family. It was all he wanted, and he would fight for it until the end. If this story touched you, the next video appearing on your screen will also resonate with you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Big hugs, and until the next emotionally touching story.